Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I must say that we had a lot of slides, and then we had to cut here and there because it was a long presentation, a very long presentation. It's still long, but I will touch the silent areas, and then the other information can be provided on request. I think it's important, though, to start with the legislative mandate of ECDC. ECDC is the Eastern Cape Development Corporation, and it draws its mandate directly from the ECDC Act number 2 of 1997, is led by the economic development priorities of the provincial government. We are a DFI whose vision is to be an innovating leader for promoting sustainable economic growth and development in the Eastern Cape province. I was requested to make a presentation on the packages that we have. I'm going to stick to talk to 4 packages, and the other one, the term loans, I am going to leave that intentionally because it has been put on hold this financial year, so we can always talk about it in the next financial year. That's the outline of my presentation. On the screen, I'm going to talk about the Job Stimulus Fund, the Nexus Loan, which is the invoice-based loan, the Workflow, which is the loan that's specially for the contractors, and then IMBFA Fund, which is more of cooperatives. And then the last slide will be to share with you, as the DFI, some of the challenges that we experience, which result in the applications of the SMMES being declined. Sorry, excuse me. Yes. The Job Stimulus Fund. The Job Stimulus Fund is basically for the companies that are in distress. ECDC has been running this program, the Job Stimulus Fund, but now due to COVID-19, it has been restructured and the policy to be reviewed and also relax some of the requirements. And a budget has been set aside of about 75 million by the Eastern Cape government for businesses that are in distress due to COVID-19. And like I was saying, ECDC has been administering this fund. The funding is made available particularly to mitigate the impact on the provincial economy. And ECDC has therefore reviewed, like I was saying, the policy. For example, last time before COVID-19, the requirement would be 10 jobs, at least a minimum of 10 jobs for the companies that are in distress who need assistance, minimum of 10 jobs. But now that minimum of 10 jobs has been further reduced to 5 jobs. So if you want to retain or save jobs in your company, then you would have at least to have that minimum of 5 jobs. But the applications that we have received so far, most of the applicants, they don't meet the requirements, in that some of them, they don't meet the requirements. They don't meet the SARS obligations and also the labor. For example, in terms of the UIF, they are not up to date with the UIF, and also in terms of their tax matters, they are not up to date. And also even the financials, it does state in the requirements that the financials should be the current ones, failing which then you provide the management accounts, and even that it becomes a challenge. So the Job Stimulus Fund, I would suggest that whoever wants to benefit from it, because it's not a loan, between the 1st of April 2020 until the 31st of March 2021, you can put your application through. I must say, though, that it has attracted more applications as well, because as we may understand that most of businesses, they actually suffered because of what is happening. So the additional incentive will cater for 3 months working capital for rental salaries and other key operational expenditure. And then I must state also that the working capital, it will be in addition, it's a supplement to the 10,000 per job that needs to be saved or to be retained. However, if the company is making a turnover of 20 million and above, then they won't be able to benefit from the working capital. They won't get the working capital. But if the company generates a turnover of 20 million and below, then we can. And the intention basically is also to bridge the gap between the big companies and the small ones. The target sectors, we're focusing in on those companies that are in the agro-processing and beneficiation, green economy, tourism and hospitality, manufacturing, capital goods producers, and construction. Also, companies in the service sector may be considered to participate in the program if the economic and social impact due to prevalent job losses is significant. That's the main thing I needed to talk to you about, the eligibility to apply, who is eligible to apply. Like I said earlier, if you're making a turnover of about 20 million, you will be able to get, if you qualify, you will be able to get 10,000 per job. If you've got 15 jobs that you need to save or you want to retain, and you prove that indeed your company is in distress due to COVID-19, so then you will be considered. And also companies with 100% South African shareholding, companies must retain or save a minimum of 5 jobs, like I stated earlier. Employees must be permanent or with a 2-year fixed term contract. So with casuals, if you have temporary staff that come, as and when, then that would be a bit of a challenge. Employees to be 70% South African. Companies must be compliant with tax and legislation with entities such as SARS and the Department of Labor. Companies will be required to provide a detailed cost background and motivation for the working capital over a period of 3 months. Like I was saying, if you're making a turnover of 20 million and below, then you will be able then to get an additional working capital if you apply for that. For companies applying for distress and the retention of jobs at risk, these companies are required to submit 2 years of signed financial statements signed by a registered accountant. They don't have to be audited, only if they don't have to be audited, but they have to be signed by the registered accountant. The creditor's account or management accounts indicating that the company is in distress. Companies must submit a distress project execution plan, 12-month cash flow projections, including estimates for the incentive, key financial indicators for the current and past 2 years in the form of revenue, net profit, labor expenses, net assets, net current assets, current and total liabilities. Companies must also submit operational costs as well as list of creditors, inclusive of debt and relevant arrangement for distressed companies. Hence, I was saying that it's very important to show that your company is in distress and it's due to COVID-19 for you to be able to apply. If you are interested, we do have application forms that can be emailed to you. You would need to contact Mr. Wayne Mahoney on that number, and also that's his email address. And also, alternatively, you can contact Ms. Nomana Mengwana. They will be able to assist you. And Program Director, I can also forward you the application form for the Job Stimulus Fund, for in case there are other people who contact you for that. Let's come to the developmental bridging facility, and this one is the Nexus Loan. When we speak of the Nexus Loan, we speak of the invoice-based loan. What is that? When you get a contract, for example, from be it the department, be it Transnet, be it CEDA, I'm just making examples if it's not the department or any other entity, but now you don't know where you will get the money to buy raw material or to buy whatever that needs to be bought. Perhaps it's supply and delivery, or revolving, that is services or small construction. Then you can come to ECDC, and those who prioritize. I must say that every Tuesday there's a committee that sits and adjudicate and decide and approve the application. So if you've got all the documentation, So the turnaround times are very fast. The lifespan from 1 month to 6 months. So with that contract, then you can, deliver this week and the following week. You submit an invoice and then you get paid. And the size of the loan, we're giving 10,000 up to 2.5 million rands. And the interest is nil. So construction loan less than 350 can also be considered under this scheme. The fees and charges, like I said, there isn't any interest paid on this. However, you pay a handling fee of 7% plus VAT of the loan amount, and that's that thing. And also the once-off initiation fee. The once-off initiation fee for those applications that are below 50,000 rands, then you pay 275 rands plus VAT. And then the initiation fee for those applications or contracts that are above 50,000, then the initiation fee will be 2,600 rands plus VAT. And then there's a monthly service fee, which is about 69 rands. It's only charged after the disbursement of funds. One of the key things that are required here, you can have that contract from your employer. I say employer, meaning the person who has awarded you the contract. If it's the Department of Health, for example, you need to supply the PPE, then that department has to be willing and be in a position to sign the deed of cession. The reason why we insist on the deed of cession is because before we bent our fingers, whereby we would approve the fund and then disperse the funds we don't pay directly to the SMME, we pay the suppliers directly, which I think works well for both parties, that is ECDC as well as the applicant. And then in that case, when the delivery has been made, then the employer would actually pay directly to the SMME. And unfortunately, some of the SMMEs forget to pay back what's due to ECDC. Hence now we wouldn't at the time be able to, when the next person comes, we honor the application. So we thought to ourselves, you know what, let's just review the entire thing and have a deed of cession in place, whereby on approval of the loan that has been applied for, then we sign the deed of cession, and it's 3 parties that sign that deed of cession. It's ECDC, it's the applicant, and also the employer. If it's the municipality, for example, then the municipality. And one of the things that are highlighted in the deed of cession is that the payment will be made into the ECDC account. And when then ECDC receives the payment, then we take those fees that I have spoken about earlier. We take what's due to us, and then we refund you what's due to you. So far it has been working very well. So you need to ensure that then your employer is willing to sign the deed of cession for us to be able to proceed with your application. Those are the requirements for this fund, the Nexus Loan. You need to bring your company profile. You need the specification. That's the other thing, because if you don't bring the specification, we are facing the risk of, you are as an SMME facing the risk of perhaps underquoting, because there's no specification, or even maybe the employer adds some of the things when in fact you have already applied for finance. So some of the things that have been added now, you didn't budget for those, and it becomes a problem, and you are unable to finish the work that you are doing. So the said certified ID documents of all members or directors, and a merit certificate, if that's applicable, the tax clearance certificate, the CSD report, the quotations of the items to be funded, confirmation of bank account, the CV, the letter of appointment and purchase order, or the contract, and it has to be valid. And we do verify those contracts, because many a times we normally get the contracts that are bogus, the contracts that are, the fraudulent ones. So we're able to verify, and if it's indeed it's a legit and valid contract, then we proceed. But if not, then we discuss it with the applicant. So the copy of the business registration documents that we need, the proof of address, and employer, the point I made earlier about the employer willing to sign the session agreement. Coming to those who are in the construction industry, we've got another product that is called Backflow Contractor Loans, where we have a once-off fee of 1.5% plus VAT, the structuring fee. We've got a cash management fee, which is also once-off, 3% plus VAT. We've got 2,600 rands plus VAT initiation fee, and also that's once off, plus the 69 rands I spoke to you about, even in the other product I spoke about previously, which is the monthly service fee. Workflow contractor loans, minimum requirements for viability assessment. We conduct a viability assessment here, and that helps us to determine whether we will be able to continue with the application or not, whether it is profitable or not, because there's no point in getting to something where when a SMME you are not going to generate what needs to be generated. But now even here we've got the requirements. You need to bring at first the letter of appointment and the price BOQ, so that we can be able then to send it for the viability assessment. And then when our mentors as ECDC consultants recommend, we base our decision on that recommendation. Then if it's approved, then we move on. Then the interest, there's an interest gap higher there, which is prime. Prime, I think now is standing at 7% plus 5%. Not on the actually on the capital amount. Exclusions for workflow contractor loans. I must say that low-cost housing projects, we've bent our fingers before, and that one we do not consider the low-cost housing. And I must say that we haven't been paid by the department huge amounts, but that one is being attended to. So with low-cost housing, if you get a contract for that, we won't be able to intervene. That. And here, those are the requirements for the construction loan: the letter of appointment or award, the price BOQ, the CIDB registration, the valid tax clearance certificate, latest annual financial statements of the business, cancelled check or confirmation of bank account, company registration documents, the ID copies, the copies of marriage certificates if applicable, the company profile, the CVs, the program of works, the cash flow, the CVs of the personnel, a list of workers, health and safety plan, builders, all risk insurance, joint venture agreement where it's applicable. The fourth one is the IMBFA Cooperatives Fund. IMBFA is basically for the cooperatives. It's administered by ECDC to provide funding through an incentive. It's actually an incentive and institutional building support to primary cooperatives, only primary cooperatives of the Eastern Cape province, in order to enhance self-employment creation opportunities in the province and also to contribute to poverty relief efforts through enterprise development. The fund is non-refundable, and you can be given, the maximum is 500,000. What are the requirements for the IMBFA fund? You need to complete an application form. You need to submit a business plan. You need a certified copy of the cooperative registration certificate and the constitution and the certified list of founding members of the cooperative, the valid tax clearance certificate, proof of members' resolution to apply for the fund. Have you guys agreed that you need the fund, and what do you need the fund for? The proof of bank account, the quotations from different suppliers. You can submit a minimum of 3 quotations from different suppliers for the needed equipment and material. A proof of residence of founding members, you can add that. The lease agreement where applicable, that one to prove that, the business is there, you've got premises, letters of intent from the potential markets of the product. With IMBFA Fund, then those are the contact details. If you need forms, for example, in Vuyokazi, you can go to our Queenstown office, which is situated at 118 Ebden Street. Vuyokazi and Krisani district, which is the offices in Queenstown. Then you can always obtain the forms there. And their contact number is 045-838-1910. Sarah Batman and Nelson Mandela Bay. You can always use the numbers that I gave earlier for Ms. Nomana Mavumengwana and Mr. Wayne Mahoney, because then that number is not in use anymore. And in OR Tambo, our office is in Season Street in Fort Gale, and that's the number where you can contact them and request for the application forms. The number is 047-501-2200. And then in Mount Aleph, in Alfred Nzo, which covers the Mount Aleph, Matatiela area, Bizana area, then you can always contact the CEDA office in Mount Aleph. Alternatively, you can contact the Umtata office as well. Some of the reasons, some entrepreneurs, they do put their applications to various funders, but only to find that some applications are rejected. And some of the reasons, I would just like to share with you some of the reasons why some applications get rejected. Firstly, what funders need to know is whether you'll be able to repay the loan that they will approve, that you are applying for. Then you need to demonstrate that the existing cash flow in your business is sufficient to actually pay that loan. And remember, a loan, it comes with interest. So 2 ratios are important for anyone seeking funding. For example, we consider the interest cover ratio and the debt service cover ratio. Will you be able to service that? Lack of collateral. Lack of collateral is a challenge, but at times funders, for example, ECDC, at times we don't need that lack of collateral if your business doesn't have any cash flow problems. You need capital injection, then we are able then to waiver that one. But you must be able to demonstrate that you are. But in the case where you owe, that's the other reason, where your financial standing is not right. There are other creditors that have not been paid. If you can make arrangements with them, or you have already made arrangements to pay them, or you are servicing the debt, then we can always consider you for approving that loan. And secondly, the other thing that we focus in on, do you have off-take agreements in place? If ECDC is to take a session over the contract to mitigate the risk, ECDC is not a security-based lender, but have to mitigate the risk, hence the former. Sometimes we need to, take a session over the contract, but when you have paid everything, then we are able to resolve that. Applicants also apply for products that ECDC do not offer, hence your application would be rejected. For example, we don't finance vehicles or property development or SIN business. SIN business, I think we know about SIN business, so we don't enter into that space. Sometimes the amount applied for is higher than the threshold being offered. Our threshold is 2.5 million, and other SMMEs would apply for 5, 10 million and all that. So in that case, ECDC also checks, we check the compliance. The business and owners must not be listed on ITC. Like I said earlier, if you are listed and you owing Edgar's, for example, what are the plans? Are you servicing that loan? Then if you have made arrangements, then that's fine. Your application can always be considered. Applicants must also approach more than one funder. Don't only apply to ECDC, just check other funders as well. Incomplete applications, that's one of the reasons why your application would be rejected, because it's incomplete or non-compliance, and not providing the correct documentation also that can delay your application. I think I stated earlier, even with the job stimulus fund, to say most of the applicants, their applications are turned down because, one, they are not in good standing with SARS, they are not in good standing with the Department of Labor. Funders also, they look at the jockey, the owner of the business or the driver. Have you done your research? Do you have the expertise to run the business? Have you been capacitated or equipped? Do you have the knowledge about the industry? So you need to demonstrate that, not unless it's a franchise, because the franchise, they do that hand holding, which is then acceptable. But if not, then you need to be knowledgeable about this. And also, if you're working full-time and you come to apply to us, that becomes a problem, because who is going to manage your business if now you are in full-time employment? Most clients not aligned with the information in the business plan. The business plan says this, and when are you saying, you're giving another story, then there's an information gap. Then your application then becomes in question. This, however, could be due to the fact that business plans are drawn by third parties, consultants perhaps. So they write, whoever, I'm just making an example, a consultant writes a business plan for you, and you get the ready-made document. And then now when you have, as an owner, to go and present to the funder, then you have a challenge, because you don't know the content of the business plan. So, yeah. My advice is that start with grant funding rather than go straight to loan. Check if you can get grant funding first, and then loan, you can get it later, because loan, it comes with interest, and you need to pay that interest. Test the market before you go for a loan. Be willing to start small. Your product, do you have market for it? Before you go and search for a loan. And when you are not ready, because some of the funders will tell you, you are not ready to get the loan, you are not ready, go and establish yourself, go get more information, go do your research, or go do your research and development before you get this, and also get the necessary expertise to run your business. I think that's that, Program Director. Thank you very much, unless there are questions.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Are you going to be able to send us that presentation so that we can circulate it, or is it?
Yes, I will be able to.
Excellent, excellent. There are just one or two questions that are similar that are coming in, and it's people that are asking about startups. So are there any service offerings for people who are starting out in business, who have no track record, who have no financial statements whatsoever? Is there any type of assistance that you offer for such businesses?
Yes, there's a whole lot. From referrals, for example, you come to us and you don't know, because you're a startup, you don't know where to get what from, then we link you with the correct institutions. And also with ECDC, we've got the business support unit, development finance and business support. We can support you non-financially. If you need marketing material, for example, we can, because you want to expand your market base, then we can assist you. If you need a feasibility study, we can assist you. But first, we conduct an assessment before we do that for you. And you need to also, because there are requirements also that you need to meet first before you are eligible. And yes, startups are accommodated as well.
Thank you, ma'am. I think we your presentation was great. So I think you can stop the shin screen from your side so that we can just see your face fully. Another question that I have, thank you so much. Another question that I have is, someone is saying, and I think this is Vuyokazi, she says, most cooperatives in rural areas don't have the means to apply for funding instruments. Would you support entrepreneurs or consultants who assist these cooperatives? I think she's referring to service providers there. So what support is there for people who go out of their way in assisting cooperatives and all of these companies that know nothing about how to apply for these instruments through ECDC?
The best bet would be to actually call ECDC to visit those areas, because we're operating across the province. Because I tell you what, there are procurement procedures in place. So if you come to us to say, I'm assisting these 10 cooperatives, they are unable to complete their application form, or they don't have access to information and everything. So we are unable to, award you a contract or employ you, for the lack of better word, to do that service, because it's not on the list of our services. It's something that we can do it ourselves as ECDC. All you can do on behalf of those cooperatives that need assistance, then you can let us know, and then we can go there. Our business advisors can actually go there. And also, one of the things that we assist with in as far as cooperatives are concerned is cooperative governance, because most cooperatives die because they were not workshopped well in that area. So they do not know their role and what to do and what not. And also in terms of the legislation as well, how they are affected and what to comply and not to do, So if you can just, notify ECDC and then invite us to render the service, why not?
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think I'm not going to take any more questions because of time. What I do want to ask for the remaining 5 to 10 minutes, I just really want to zoom into that job stimulus fund. So I don't know if you can perhaps open your presentation again. I'm so sorry for asking again. And you can just take us through for the next 5 minutes, and then we'll be done. That job stimulus fund, because from my understanding, it's a new thing. I think it has been in effect from July. You'll correct me if I'm wrong. And a lot of people don't know about that. And there are so many other people who have just joined us that didn't get that part. I think for me, it's one of the most important. So I don't know if you are able to just share your screen again and then see a job stimulus fund, so that we can just, for the remaining 5 minutes, take us through that. Are you going to be able to?
Yes.
And then maybe just make your screen a bit bigger. That full screen thing there at the bottom again. Yes. The job stimulus fund. So after you speak about that, I think we'll be done, colleagues. And then if anyone has missed any other thing, we'll make this recording available, and then we'll try and circulate the slides. So you can contact CEDA directly, ECDC directly, or you can contact us. We'll try and circulate the slides to everyone. Thank you, ma'am.
What I was saying was that the government of the Eastern Cape set aside an additional funding to the tune of 75 million to assist businesses that are in distress as a result of COVID-19. The additional funding is augmented in the current Eastern Cape Job Stimulus Fund program administered by ECDC, aiming at providing financial support to businesses in distress to enable the saving and retention of jobs by the Eastern Cape-based businesses. The sectors that we're focusing in on is your agro-processing and beneficiation, green economy, tourism and hospitality, manufacturing, capital goods producers, and construction and companies in the services sector may also be considered. In the old, I would say old, but before COVID-19, in the program that we had, before we relaxed the requirements, the minimum requirement was 10 jobs. You need to save about 10 jobs or retain 10 jobs, the minimum of 10 jobs for you to be able to benefit from the 10,000 rands per job. So now it has been reduced, the number of jobs. If you employ minimum of 5 jobs upwards, then you are eligible to apply. And for each job saved or retained, you will be given 10,000 rands. And for those companies that are making a turnover of 20 million and below, then they can also apply for the working capital, which will then both be for the 3 months. Basically, that will be used for rental or salaries or any other key operational expenditure. So this Job Stimulus Fund is open from the 1st of April 2020 until the 31st March 2021. And therefore, any time between now and then, you can benefit, take advantage of this product, because it is an incentive, not a loan. Who is eligible to apply? All businesses with an annual turnover above 20 million will only be entitled to apply for the normal 10,000 rands per job saved or obtained, and will not qualify for the additional working capital incentive. Like I said earlier, only those that are making a turnover of 20 million and below. And the companies with 100% South African shareholding, companies must save or retain 5 jobs. Employees must be permanent or with a 2-year fixed term contract, and employees to be 70% South African. Companies must be compliant with SARS and also Department of Labor. I'm trying to move my cursor now. Program Director, I'm not sure what's happening.
Okay. Is that all with the job stimulus?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Any words of advice to people who are watching? We've got quite a number of people who are watching through Facebook, and people are in need of all of this. Thank you so much for doing this, by the way, and taking your time to just assist us. I know it's outside of your working hours. So any advice to entrepreneurs, especially young people that are watching you now and that are listening to this? If you are sitting maybe on the other side, in fact, as a person sitting on the inside who knows exactly what is needed, what are your last 3 statements, that you can say to people who are watching who need assistance from ECDC?
My advice would be contact ECDC immediately. If you are closer to any regional office of ECDC, you can make an appointment because of the COVID-19 thingy, or contact them and take advantage of these funding schemes, all of them, but particularly the Job Stimulus Fund. Remember, the budget is limited. We said it's about 75 million, and how many people are applying and how many jobs, need to be retained or be saved. So strike the iron while still hot and put that application through. And also, what I can say again is that if you receive a contract, because in most municipalities, for example, in Sarah Baartman and Nelson Mandela Bay, you find that applicants for the Nexus Loan, the one that is the invoice-based loan, they approach ECDC when the tender is about to close, or not the tender is about to close, when the date, the delivery date, yes, when the delivery date is about to be reached, then in that case, we need some time 7 to 15 days, working days. So anytime between then, it can be, your application can be approved. So now, at least as soon as you get that, the contract is awarded to you, then ECDC must be your first port of call. And also, there is another a pack of services that I didn't speak about, which is that's offered under the business support, which is non-financial. So if you want to benefit from that, your quality management systems, your admin systems, for example, as a business, you need assistance with that. Why not check with us? We may be able to help. Thank you very much, Program Director.
Excellent. Thank you so much, ma'am. I will be visiting you and giving you a copy of my book as a gesture of our gratitude for taking your time. So thank you so much for that. Colleagues, thank you for joining us. I hope that this session was worth your time. We will email everyone this presentation, and it will be recorded. I mean, it is recorded, so we will upload it on YouTube so that you can all watch it again. Thank you so much for your time. Mama, siyabulela kakhulu ngexesha lakho nangom. So when we invite you again, ungasi deny, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you.